Well, back in 1999, we were doing a VBS out in Plan Nacional Agrario, and it's a little community just outside of San Felipe on the highway. And it was towards the end of our caravan season, our group season, and we were doing a VBS out there in a very, very difficult area to work. It had a lot of logistics with the government to work out, and a lot of rules, and a lot of things that we had to conform to in order to do this VBS. And on the first day, we only had 9 children come, but we had 3 young boys, teenagers, in a group, and they were talking to Adrian, who was our evangelist at the time, about who we were, what we were doing, who was Jesus. They just had a lot of questions. One of the young men was on a bicycle because he had a crippled foot. And we were being watched by the governing people of this community that we were going to follow the agenda, and it came time to start the VBS, so Adrian had to tell the boys that he would talk to them later. He asked them to come back early the next day, and he would come early, and they would have more time to talk. And so we did the VBS and left, and the next day, the 3 boys didn't come. But on Wednesday, 2 of them came, but the one that was on the bicycle that had the crippled foot, he didn't come, but he was the one that had the most questions. And so Adrian asked if they could show him where he lived, and he would go over to the house and spend time with him. And they says, well, he was killed on the highway going home from our VBS on Monday, and that's why he wasn't there. And it devastated Adrian because Adrian is the evangelist, and that's his life. And we all felt like we had lost the one that the Lord had put in our path, because we don't know if he was a Christian or if he was saved, and we felt like we were so busy doing the agenda that we missed the opportunity for the one. John, shortly after that, had to leave to go to a triennial conference, and Adrian and I were left behind to close up the site for the summer because we were leaving on a 3-month speaking tour. And we were sitting on the beach one night, and he left and walked one way, and I left and walked the other way. We came back, and we both started talking, I in Spanish, or he in Spanish and I in English, and our thoughts were like popcorn. It was like we were feeding off of each other, both in a different language, both understanding what each other was saying. It was the most incredible experience. But we, in just a real short few minutes, laid out the plan on how we could encompass all age groups into the evangelism program of what we do with Mexican Medical. And so we were so excited. We came back to write it down so we wouldn't forget it by the time we met up with John, so we could share it with him. And we shared it with a couple people, and they thought it was just an awesome vision or plan for how we could enhance the program that we were already under with Mexican Medical. And we got to John, and I think we were talking French because he couldn't grasp what we were sharing with him. And it was so clear to us how we would do the evangelism portion. And so we went ahead and we left on our 3-month speaking tour, and we always were talking about how we could do this and how we could do that, and all the things that we could do. Several days into the tour, we were going across Canada, and Adrian was in the back of this little trooper that we were riding, and he was singing a song called Cien Ovejas, and the title is The 100 Sheep, and it's about the parable in Luke about the 100 sheep, and the shepherd was missing one, and so he left the 99 to look for the one that was lost. And we thought, wow, that's a perfect name for the new program we were going to start. 99+1, and it was perfect because it was bilingual. We didn't have to translate it. It was numbers, and Every time people would ask us what 99 plus 1 was, they thought we were like a dollar store. You know, you buy something and get another one for a penny or something. So it always gave us the perfect opportunity. But in the speaking tour, whenever we started talking about the new evangelism portion, it was always referred to as 99 plus 1 from then on. And when we got to Maine, we were sharing the vision with one of the pastors at the church we were going to be speaking at, and the secretary found our logo for us. So now we have a logo plus a name plus a vision on how to do this evangelism. And we continued our tour, and by the time we got back out to the West Coast 3 months later, it was obvious that 99 plus 1 was beginning to take on a life of its own. It was never started or meant to be separate from Mexican Medical. It was simply going to enhance that portion of the ministry. But it was obvious to us that we needed to separate that and let it be its own entity. And so we were going to try to become a nonprofit and incorporate 99 plus 1 so it would be its own entity. While we were in Vancouver, Canada, John was talking to a guy back east about how to start this organization. And I was ironing downstairs in the basement, and I had this experience like somebody runs your thumb down your back and you have that kind of a shudder and you say, whoa, what was that? And I had this incredible thought to call Evan Evans. Well, Evan Evans was in Costa Rica in language school with us, and he was a retired corporate attorney. I thought, whoa, we could contact him and he could tell us how to do it. And so I ran upstairs, and I was so excited. I told John to get off the phone because we have Evan. Well, he'll tell us how to do it. And so John politely got off the phone and called Evan. And Evan, after John had shared him what 99 plus 1 and what we wanted to do, he says, our church has been looking for something like that to do. This is incredible. He says, stop at the house on the way home and let's talk about it. We stopped and shared it with him, spent a day or two with him, and he started 99 plus 1. He did all the corporate papers, all the filings, paid for everything. And so by the time we got back from our speaking tour, 99 plus 1 was a nonprofit organization.